Making that decision turned out to be one of the greatest things that's ever happened to myself and multiple men that came with me.
This ain't no regular thing. I came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This for my city, yeah, this for my team. If you talking and talking me nice, I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights, better get right, I'm champion. The game is in trouble, I've been in my depth for the piece of the puzzle, I got it for real. Still keep me going, I wake up and hustle, you won't see me.
What's up, guys? Top Golf Friday. We are at Door to Door, best kept secret in the industry. We're going to go in here and hear from some really key players, guys that have launched this brand of door knocking, and Interstate Roofing owner Scott Riopel, who trained Bob Schulber. Now Bob Schulber opened up Pro West Roofing down in Arizona, which led to multiple other locations and roofing avenues for people branching off and starting their own companies. We all get to gather in here at Top Golf under one umbrella and talk about some cool things.
And you're speaking today.
This gentleman, just the short amount of time that I've been able to share time with him has impacted my life in a very profound manner just by a little bit of his backstory, which is the prime example of things do not happen to you, they happen for you. We all got a story. We all got a past. Everybody can get their little, what do they call them, the smallest violin ever, and they can feel sorry for themselves, or they can pick themselves up by their bootstraps and make something out of the mess that they came from. And the next speaker that we're going to bring up is somebody that has capitalized on that and is having, I'm getting chills thinking about the ripple effects that this individual is having in a positive sense for not just this generation and not just his team from over 100 people, but generational positive impact of the ripple effect that he's having, picking himself by his bootstraps and making something of himself and having a servant heart leadership and leading from the front and leading from the back is something that has impacted me. And I encouraged him he wanted to keep pointing the finger back to his team, which I love. And so without further ado, I want to bring up Adam, and he's going to talk a little bit about some amazing information. And woo-hoo! Bring it on. You're welcome.
Morgan, thank you for the introduction, guys. My name is Adam Tronier, One Solutions representative, and I work down here in Arizona for Pro West Roofing. I run a sales team of 111 guys, some of those guys being out of Colorado. Last year, when we came to Pro West Roofing, we came over with the original 5, and we had left a former company for better and bigger opportunities. It was the scariest decision that I had ever made in my life, and I didn't know if it was going to pan out or not. I just knew I needed to make a decision. And making that decision turned out to be one of the greatest things that's ever happened to myself and multiple men that came with me. We started out with 4 guys, built up to 89 people by January of last year, so we're at 111. And Corey talks a little bit about the why. Like why do you do this? What happens? What's the purpose? Being a sales manager in a door-knocking industry is very difficult. It takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of effort, energy, money, financial, and it takes a big burden. It puts a big burden on the children and the wives and the girlfriends. I get a lot of guys, man, that call me all the time and they ask like, hey, how do you build these sales teams? You know, I've been looking on the computer and I've been looking at ChatGPT and I've been trying to come up with these strategies, and I'm on LinkedIn and I'm trying to hire all these guys, and I get 50, 60 guys coming in there. Man, and one of them Stick, dude, and I don't even know his name, and he sold a roof last year, and I'm like, that's 50 guys you got coming in there, and you saved one, right? And the rinse and repeat cycle of that's over and over and over, and I ask these guys, hey, what does your life look like? What do you do in the evening time? Like, yeah, well, I got some certain Netflix TVs like that I like to watch. You know, my program comes on at 5 o'clock at night. I like to be home for dinner. We eat dinner around 6:30, shut the lights off around 9, and I'm thinking, holy, dude, my goodness, 4 o'clock, I think I'm getting my first drink of water because I'm out there knocking doors with the boys and jumping up on roofs. And guys always think that they have a better way, a better formula. I can do this because the computer teaches me what I can do. Nothing outbeats cold, hard, grinding facts. If you go home and you cut your day at 4 o'clock in the evening and you're home by 5 and you're in bed by 6, you're missing out on about 4 hours of work time. Somebody pull their calculator out for me really quick on their phone. Somebody pull it out. Do 4 times 5 if you work 5 days a week. I choose to work 7 most of the times. So do 4 times 5 times 4 times 12. 960 hours. Dude, how'd you do that? Bro, what happened? how did you get all those sales? How did you train all these guys? How did you guys do that? I could, hey, hold on. Call me tomorrow morning. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I got some stuff to do tonight. Okay, I get it. Put in the time, the energy, the effort. And the reason why I say that is it's the simplest thing a person could possibly do. Just work hard. Work hard. I saw a guy on Instagram say the most profound thing. He says, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Weird. Don't wait for a handout. Make it happen. I was sitting in prison about 6 years ago, and I was doing my second 6.5-year prison sentence. And I'm sitting in a cell, and I have a bunch of guys here that was in prison with me, like my brothers, and I was scared to death because I didn't know what life was going to offer me, and I wanted a second opportunity, and I knew I was worth it, and I had done some things that changed my lifestyle around at that time. And, if I could get out of prison and get a $22 an hour job, I would have been happy. I really just wanted something, right? Maybe I could cultivate, put in some action behind that and purchase a home when I was 50 years old and watch my children grow up with a white picket fence. And that's what I thought was going to happen. I was released in February of 2021 and afforded an opportunity to become a door knocker. Didn't know anything about it, had no clue what was going on, almost didn't take the job. I was super scared. Somebody loaned me a Pete Cruiser. It was a 2003. His name was Matt Langford, and he paid the insurance on it. And I would drive up and down from Phoenix to Flagstaff to Payson, down to Tucson, all over the state, and I'd be overheating on these freeways. I had no money in my pocket, and I would dig ditches on Thursdays and Fridays to go get gas money, $100 at a time, so I could knock more doors. At that time, I had an opportunity to say, hey, poor me. God, why can't I just catch a break, right? But I was super grateful and thankful that I was given an opportunity. Somebody loaned me a car, and I just had to knock another door. And I was terrible at it, honestly. Like really bad, like embarrassing bad. And I was out there by myself, and when I started figuring it out, I wanted to give back, because somebody took a chance on me when I was in prison and allowed me to get on the Florence fire crew and become a wildland firefighter. And they probably shouldn't have done it because I was strung out on dope and I was doing drugs, and they gave me an opportunity and a chance, and I took it and I ran with it. And I wanted to prove to somebody. I didn't have a mentor. My mother killed herself in 2015 when I went to prison. My dad died in 2003, and I grew up in foster care. And it was time. 35 years old. I wanted to do something. I get out, man, and I started making some money, and I reached back out. And every individual that came from prison that I knew or I built a relationship with or I saw do good things, and I said, man, they deserve a chance just like I deserve a chance. And I would take them and I'd bring them to my house, and they'd sleep on my couch, and I would teach them exactly what I was taught in the roofing industry. That's to knock doors, get on the roof, identify hail damage, do the wind damage thing. Super simple, right? Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Took everything I had. Made over $500,000 in the first, 2 years in the industry. I spent it all on building up guys, bringing them from prison, helping house them, throwing barbecues, doing all this stuff. And everyone thought I was super crazy. And I never did it because I had this grandiose plan that said, I'm going to make a ton of money off this. I'm going to do this stuff. I did it because I wanted to help the next guy. And I have like some really, really cool stories. And you see these pictures in the background. When we get out of prison, or we get out of addiction, and a lot of us come from those backgrounds, we've never done anything with our lives. And we just wanted to do something, and who's gonna offer that opportunity and to do something? So to be able to afford opportunity to people like Trevor, who just got out a couple days ago, Chris O'Hara picked him up. Chris O'Hara was our top salesman last year, like 2.7 million, something like 3 million. Congratulations, Chris. That's some good numbers. And when we have some other guy, I want to recognize everyone. I love my team. I love the guys. I love the brotherhood. We have a bunch of top salesmen represented out here. You guys should talk to them, see how they do it. We got Drew Nyertz in the house, Adam Mills, Matthew Tangy, Gabriel Beckwith, a lot of cool things going on. But I never knew that it was going to transpire into this. I never knew, I'm not a conference speaker. I'm not a circuit speaker. I've never done this before. This is my first time. And I'm honored to be able to come up here and tell people what happened and why it happened. I can come up here and talk about the 29 million that we did for our sales team last year, just the team, not the company, and talk about all those things, man. But the power behind it is what Corey was talking about, is the why, right? And the more people I help, the more blessed I become. And that has transpired and funneled down through team member after team member after team member. And we're starting to change the prison system and the way people think, and they're super excited to get out and be a part of the team. We love helping build people's teams. We love putting them in the exact same position that we were in, mentoring them, building them up. What an opportunity. Thank you guys for putting this on. ABC, thank you. I see Levi from OC. We got a lot of cool guys here. Thank you.
Woke up today, smile on my face. May not go my way, still got my faith, so I'll be okay. I'll be okay, I'll be okay.
When you talk about coming from nothing, they really, really, really did. I remember when Bob Schober showed up in Kansas. Holy and then like 3 weeks later, he's got this badass El Camino, and I'm a car guy, and I still remember, I didn't even know who Bob Schober was, right? And Scott tells me, this dude sells so many oil change cars, you've never met anybody like him. Like 2 weeks after he gets there, he pulls up in this El Camino, and I'm like, who is that? And they're like, that's Bob Schober. He showed up here without a car. Now he's got an El Camino, and now he owns Pro West Roofing. So without further ado, I'm gonna get off this stage. Y'all put y'all's damn hands together.
Bob Alcoholic. 2011, 15 seasons ago, I got a phone call. There was a huge storm in Kansas. I had knocked a couple doors here for John Hopper in 2010, but that was my first storm. And I get to Kansas, was like 37 years old, totally, I had no money. I borrowed some money from my parents. And absolutely nothing, but I have been a door-to-door oil change card sales guy since the mid-90s. And kind of had a rough time before I got into the roofing. And I get out there and I had no idea what I was doing. I had a guy bring me in, Danny Flanagan, and I'm there. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no ladder. I have no vehicle. I have an out-of-state cell phone number. And I call up Danny. I said, I'm at the office. What do I do? He said, I can't help you. I'm super busy. I'm signing a neighbor. I got an appointment with another neighbor right after this. I said, what do I do? He said, just start walking. So I said, okay. And I'd knocked on doors for years. I probably knocked 100,000 doors in my life. And I get to the first house and I knock.
Wait, you gotta tell him. You rode off on your
I did have a skateboard. I had an old Tennessee skateboard. That's a true statement. And I get to the first house. I knocked on the door. The guy opens. And I said, hey, my name's Bob. I'm with Pinnacle Roofing. And I can see you got some damage on the gutters here. I'm gonna check the roof for you. It's gonna take me 2 minutes, see if you have any damage up there. He says, that sounds good. I said, cool, let's get your ladder, right? Like I'm always assuming the close. I'm like, let's get your ladder. He was like, I see our office is right down the street, so I'm not gonna carry a ladder up and down the street. He said, okay. So we go to his garage, grab the ladder, he helps me set it up. And I get on the roof, there's damage up there, and I come back down the ladder. As I'm coming down, the neighbor's like, what are you doing? I said, oh, this guy has hail damage from the storm that came through a couple weeks ago. I'll be at your house to check it next. He's like, yeah, that'd be great. So I get down, I tell the guy, I don't ever say, go grab your policy. Who's your insurance company? Oh, I work with State Farm. That's awesome. I call them all the time. Their number's in my phone. So I get that guy called in. I went to the neighbors, and as I was leaving his door, I said, hey, I'm gonna borrow your ladder to go next door. And that was my very first night actually signing contracts in roofing. From 4:30 till 8:30 at night, I signed 8 deals. And out of those 8, 5 got bought. They were smaller houses, but it was like $5,600, and that kind of turned me on to the roofing scene. As far as somebody asked over here about, do you pitch the spouse or the wife or the husband or whatever, I would have to disagree respectfully with Danny. I always pitch the wife. I'm the guy that when I'm out there, I'm not going from 5 to 7 at night or 5 to 8:30. Like I'm starting in the morning and I'm stopping when it's dark. So if I'm working during the day, a lot of times, 15 years ago, the husband's not home, whatever. If I get on the roof with the wife and I come back down, I'll show some pictures that I've taken on my phone, and the wife will typically say, Bob, look, I can see that there's damage there, but my husband's not here, and he really makes those decisions. I don't want to do this without him. And what I will say to that is, ma'am, you can see that you have hail damage, right? Well, yeah, I can see that. And you can see that there's some shingles blown off from the wind that's come through, correct? Yeah, I can see that. Let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. You said your insurance company is State Farm. I work with them all the time. Let's make that call right now. And if your husband comes home and says, honey, I would rather pay full price for that roof than try to have the insurance cover it, then in the notes section, I'll just put you can cancel anytime by sending an email to bob@prowest.com. Easy enough, right? And that has closed tons and tons of deals for me. I always pitch the wife. Roofing has been, I know that there's some different industries in here. I say oil change cards was my first, but it wasn't. Kirby Vacuums was my first. That's a tough sale. And, you have a handheld canister that has a plastic thing that you're running over their bed, and there's all kinds of shit getting sucked up into there. And, you kind of saw them when you're like, well, that's kind of moving, and they get freaked out. You know what I mean? But it's interesting. So I know there's some different industries in here. Roofing has Roofing has put an incredible amount of money in my pocket, and more important than that, than the money, is the relationships I made through roofing has given me an amazing amount of wealth. It's been absolutely amazing. I think the only thing better than getting rich on your own is getting rich with your friends, right? I think the average roofing company owner makes under a couple $100,000 a year. And we probably have, 60 people, 50, 60 people at the Pro West office that made way more than that last year. Some 2, 3, 4 times that. I want to thank everybody that came here. The industry is absolutely amazing. It's unlimited on what you can do. You get to write your own paycheck, and that's awesome. Also a shout out to, Redemption Blueprint is something that Adam, his team, and myself started probably about 6 or 7 months ago. If there's any guys in here that have come from kind of a, past or whatever, we kind of do a feature on salespeople that kind of worked through that stuff. So come find me or Adam or Drew or Adam, anybody on that team afterwards. And we'd love to get some stories outside of our organization for anybody that's worked through that kind of stuff. So guys, thanks again for coming. And it's been a little bit long, so I'm gonna put this down and thank you.
J like the letter, I'm making several waves. I know the mission is same. I made a splash, now all of my passes last like running a race with Usain. I keep it coming like this a buffet. And if I'm stumbling, I'm in the graves. Never gon' fumble it. I get the bag and I run with it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it. Murray with the legs, all about finesse. I am not impressed. I don't need a rash coming in with last, then you see the flash. Elohim with the melody, and then he supply the breath. 70, keep it heavenly, everybody get the bread.